Welcome to Think About It with your host, Jaden Miller.
Good day and welcome to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Hope you guys are doing well during this fabulous Christmas week. I hope Santa Claus is getting his list together and getting all of the things that you want for this very, very special season. Were you naughty or nice? That's the question. Think about it. All right, so listen, please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. As I've told you in the past, I'm on all of them now: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Castbox, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and probably many, many more. So again, thank you guys for joining me on this wonderful day in Phoenix, Arizona. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about something that is actually happening in my life. All right. Recently I got married. If you guys have watched the podcast in the past, you've seen that. For those that follow on other social media, you've seen pictures of me and my absolutely gorgeous wife, Tanisha. And you probably have seen children in those other forms of social media as well. So when Tanisha and I got married, we had both been married previously. And when we came together, we both brought children from our previous marriages into our new marriage. All right. And for all intents and purposes, that's called a blended family. So that's what we did. We blended families. All right. What is a blended family? A blended family or step family? And I hate that term, step family. So I'm going to really try not to use it. I hate the word stepchildren. I hate the word stepmom and stepdad and all that. You know, it's not a step. They're individuals. All right. And so I just like the term family. So if I have a new son from my marriage, then it's not my stepson. It's just my son. Now, of course, you can do what you like. I'm just saying that I don't like that term. But anyway, a blended family forms when you and your partner make a life together with the children from one or both of your previous relationships. The process of forming a new blended family can be both a rewarding and challenging experience. While you as parents are likely to approach remarriage and a new family with great joy and expectation, your kids or your new spouse's kids may not be nearly as excited. All right. They'll likely feel uncertain about the upcoming changes and how they will affect relationships with their natural parents. They'll also be worried about living with new siblings, if that's the case, whom they may not know well, or worse, ones they may not even like. All right. So, you know, when you blend families, as I mentioned, there's always going to be, you know, what your expectations are, which are usually good. You have good expectations. You want your children to get together. You know, you want them to bond with their new father or new mother. But sometimes the expectations we have may not be real when it comes to our kids. And so we have to learn how to make blended families a success. So as I was speaking about children, some may resist changes, while you as a parent can become frustrated when your new family doesn't function in the same way as your previous one. So while blending families is rarely easy, these tips that I'm going to share with you today can help your new family work through the growing pains. No matter how strained or difficult things seem at first, with open communication, mutual respect, and plenty of love and patience, you can develop a close bond with your new children and form an affectionate and successful blended family. So as I talk about this, I actually get to share with you my own personal experiences with this. All right. So let's talk about a few things when it comes to making your blended family a success. All right. And then, like I said, I'll share some of my experiences. Trying to make a blended family a replica of your first family or the ideal nuclear family can often set family members up for confusion, frustration, and disappointment. Instead, what we should strive to do is embrace the differences and consider the basic elements that make a successful blended family. All right. So here are some things that you need to do. First, you need to have a solid marriage. Without the marriage, there is no family. It's harder to take care of the marriage in a blended family because you don't have the time to adjust as a couple like in most first marriages. You'll have to grow and mature into the marriage while parenting. All right? Be civil. If family members can act civil towards one another on a regular basis rather than ignoring, purposely trying to hurt, or completely withdrawing from each other, then you know that this success, blending this family together is on the road to success. All right. All relationships are respectful. This is not just referring to the kids' behavior toward the adults. Respect should be given not just based on age, but also based on the fact that you are all family members now. All right. And that's really the key there. You are all family members now. All right. There should be compassion for everyone's development. All right. Members of your blended family may be at various life stages and have different needs. For example, adult children versus teen children versus toddler children. Okay. They may also be at different stages in accepting this new family. Family members need to understand and honor those differences. Not everybody comes along right away. Not everyone likes the new spouse right away or feel close to the new spouse, especially if there's the other parent that's still somewhere in the picture. So for example, if there's a son and, now he's inheriting this new father, all right? Well, what about the relationship he has with his biological father? Okay. So, he may have a real great relationship there. All right. And may in some sense feel that he's dishonoring that relationship if he becomes closer to that new person that his mother married. All right. So we have to have some compassion for everyone's development. All right. And then there needs to be room for growth. All right. After a few years of being blended, hopefully the family will grow and members will choose to spend more time together and feel closer to one another. All right. So, when I started dating, and really becoming serious, all right. Well, Tanisha and I didn't just rush. First of all, she didn't even allow me to meet her children right away, okay, which was probably cool, okay, and I get that, all right. It took a little while because she had been through a divorce, and in fact, a painful divorce. And, she had been in the dating world, of course. All right. But, you want to make sure that, especially if you're marriage minded, that you're introducing your children to someone who you believe is going to be a good fit, not only for you in the relationship, but also for them. All right. So, but as I was saying, after having survived a painful divorce or separation, and then managing to find a new loving relationship, the temptation can often be to rush into remarriage and a blended family without first laying sound foundations. And so, as I was speaking, with Tanisha and I, we met, and she told me about her children. And then at some point, I began to meet them on a limited basis at first. All right. And so what she was doing, what we were doing was we're taking our time. All right. You give everyone a chance to get used to each other and to the idea of marriage and forming a new family. See, too many changes at once can unsettle children. All right. And it doesn't matter what age they are. Okay. Blended families have the highest success rate if the couple waits, okay, at least 2 years or more after a divorce to remarry instead of piling one drastic family change onto another. All right. So I know with my new wife now, Tanisha, that there had been many years, between her divorce and then marrying me, and the same thing with me. All right. And then both of us had a lot of experience. And when I say experience in terms of longevity with our initial marriages, she was married more than 20 years and so was I. All right. So, coming into this together, we both had some real good thoughts and we had some really good experience. And, that's why, when we started this blending, specifically me getting to know her children, it was so much more successful. All right. Some other things you should know is Don't expect to fall in love with your partner's children overnight. You have to get to know them. Love and affection take time to develop. You need to find ways to experience real life together. All right. So here I'm just going to throw out some suggestions to you, like taking, if you've got parents, and especially if your children are a little younger, taking both sets of kids to a theme park every time you get together is a lot of fun. Okay, but it isn't reflective of everyday life. So what you need to do is try to get the kids used to your partner and their children in daily life situations. All right. And so in our situation, I would come over often, and daily life situations are, playing games at the house, or just sitting around talking or reading books or having dinner or even making dinner, which we did many, many times. All right. Um, Another thing to remember is you need to make parenting changes before you marry. So you need to agree with your new partner how you intend to parent together, and then make any necessary adjustments to your parenting styles before you remarry. It'll make for a much smoother transition, and your kids won't become angry at your new spouse for initiating changes. All right. Here, this is really, really important. Don't allow ultimatums. Your kids or new partner may put you in a situation where you feel you have to choose between them. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. You need to remind them that you want both sets of people in your life. No ultimatums, all right? You need to insist on respect. Now, you can insist on people liking each other, but you can insist that they treat one another with respect, all right? And so this is the time where, as adults, as parents, you may have to put on that, well, I'm the mom or I'm the dad, role, and remind even sometimes your adult children, that respect does not end when you turn 21, or respect does not end when you turn 18, or respect doesn't end when you leave my house. Okay. As long as I'm the parent, there needs to be respect. Okay. It's just as simple as that. So, yeah, you may not like my new husband, or you may not like my new wife. Okay. But anytime you step foot in my house, there has to be respect. Okay. Or anytime we're out together, you can't just ignore them or walk away or come talk to me and don't even look at them. That's not going to happen. All right. You can't let that happen. Not if you want to have a successfully blended family. All right. Then also limit your expectations. You may give a lot of time, energy, love, and affection to your new partner's kids that they will not return immediately. Okay. Think of it as making small investments that may one day yield a lot of interest. All right. Given the right support, kids should gradually adjust to the prospect of marriage and being part of a new family. It is your job, adults, parents, to communicate openly, meet their needs for security, and give them plenty of time to make a successful transition. All right. These things are just so important. All right. I want you to also remember this, okay, as you continue to blend your family. All right. And this is specifically for the kids, they want to feel safe and secure. All right. And again, I'm not just talking about little children or children under 18, or even, I'm talking about even adults. Children want to be able to count on parents and their new parents. All right. Children of divorce have already felt the upset of people they trust letting them down, and may not be eager to give second chances to a new person. All right. So they need to feel that security. They need to feel loved. Kids like to see and feel your affection, although it should come in a gradual process. All right. So you're starting to make really good progress. All right. When you and your partner, or now, at least in my situation, my new wife, but you hug and you kiss, and then the kids look and say, "Oh, gross." Get a room, stuff like that. That's really funny. All right. So that they're starting to come along. Okay. Because really, they actually like that. They actually like to see that, the new parents are, affectionate towards one another, and that they have a kindness towards another. All right. Then the next, children want to feel valued. All right. Kids often feel unimportant or invisible when it comes to decision making in the new blended family. So it's important to recognize their role in the family when you make decisions. All right. And then being heard and emotionally connected, creating an honest and open environment free of judgment will help kids feel heard and emotionally connected to a new parent. Show them that you can view the situation from their perspective. All right. Appreciated and encouraged. Children of all ages respond to praise and encouragement and like to feel appreciated. All right. Limits and boundaries. All right. Children may not think they need limits, but a lack of boundaries sends a signal that the child is unworthy of the parent's time, care, and attention. As a new parent in a relationship, remember there's that word step parent that I do not like to use. You shouldn't step in as the enforcer at first, but work with your spouse, all right, to set limits. That's just so important, okay? Because it's really difficult sometimes for kids, of all ages, when you come in and tell them, okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to do that, okay? When maybe the other parent, didn't do it quite that way, or they feel as though, wow, here's this new person, telling me what to do, So I think it's really important to that children need limits, all right, but that it's really important that boundaries are set, okay? All right, so you should use routines and rituals to bond, all right? Creating family routines and rituals can help you bond with your new children and unite the family as a whole. And you don't necessarily have to like all of them, but still, just being a part of them. So, for example, I know with Tanisha and our new family, so this is the Christmas season, and they like to watch like these Christmas movies, okay? Now, see, I never did that in my family, but they like these movies like Elf and stuff like that, okay? It's a family routine, all right? So now I can be resistant, and say, I never did that. Why should I, But it's really good because it helps with that bonding when you join in those family routines, in those rituals, okay? So now, of course, if I had more of those types of rituals and routines, then I'm more than certain that Tanisha would join in as well, okay, and be part of those as well, all right? So, I think it's really important to incorporate at least one new family ritual, okay? And that's something that we still are working on, okay? So, we've got to come up with something that now is unique to our new family, all right? So it could be anything. It could be having brunch on Sunday, or it could be, a weekly game night, or, some other things that we can do, and in fact, as I really reflect on this, there's one way that we have done that really I think has become ours is when we celebrate a family birthday, everybody will go around and tell what they like about that person or love about that person. So, I think that's one way that we are now establishing, some of our own family routines. And that started even before we got married. So, we were already, moving in that direction. All right. It's important to establish regular family meals. So this is one thing that we do. Now, I have 2 daughters and Tanisha has 8 children. So, 10. 8 plus 2 is 10. All right. Well, my 2 daughters, one lives in another state, one lives in this state, but she lives a little distance from us, and she has her own family. All right. And then Tanisha has her children. Several of them live on their own. And so there are 4 that actually live with us. All right. But when we are all together, we always have, at least we strive to, as often as we can. And in fact, I would say probably about 95% of the time, we will have family dinner together. All right. Because that's a great chance for us to talk and catch up. And again, that's a way for us to bond with each other. Okay. So again, these are just some ways that, you can really help to blend, your family in a much, much more positive way. All right. Now, I want to talk about some blended family challenges. All right. Because there are some. All right. And we need to recognize them, and we need to learn how to deal with them. All right. So as you blend 2 families, differences in parenting, discipline, lifestyle, etc., can create challenges and become a source of frustration for the children. Agreeing on consistent guidelines about rules, chores, discipline, and allowances will show the kids that you and your spouse intend to deal with issues in a similar yet fair way. All right. So, some of the common challenges include age differences. All right. In blended families, there may be children with birthdays closer to one another than possible with natural siblings, or the new parent may be only a few years older than the eldest child. Okay, so imagine like if you're blending families and one parent has a child that's 30. Okay, and you're 40. All right, so that's an age difference. That's a challenge there. All right, parental inexperience. One of the parents may have never been a parent before and therefore may have no experience of the different stages children go through. So that's a challenge that happens in blended families. All right. You've got changes in family relationships. Let's say both parents remarry partners with existing families. It can mean children suddenly find themselves with different roles in two blended families. For example, one child may be the eldest, in one family, but the youngest in the other. So blending families may also mean one child loses their uniqueness as the only boy or girl in the family. So just another challenge, something to think about, because this is Think About It with Jaden Miller. Difficulty in accepting a new parent. If children have spent a long time in a one-parent family or still nurture hopes of reconciling their parents, they may have difficulty accepting a new person. All right. And so when it comes to that, especially if your children are older, all right, this is again where respect comes in, okay? And this is where you as the parent have to insist upon respect, okay? So yeah, it might take you some time, or you really don't know this person. You're trying to get to know this person, or you're thinking that, oh, okay, well, this is dad's replacement for mom or something like that, okay? Well, you can have those beliefs, all right? Hopefully they will start to dissipate. But the fact of the matter is, okay, you still have to insist that your children be respectful to your new wife or your new husband, all right? It's just that simple, because you can't allow that strife and stress to come into your marriage. You have to be a united front. And sometimes you have to tell children where to get off. I mean, it's just that simple, all right? So, again, just some challenges, all right? So as you continue to strengthen your blended family, all right, establishing trust is crucial to creating a strong, cohesive, blended family, okay? As I've mentioned, at first, children may feel uncertain about their new family and resist your efforts to get to know them. This is often simply apprehension about having to share their parent with a new spouse. Try not to take their negative attitudes personally, okay? Instead, build trust and strengthen your new blended family by creating clear boundaries, establishing yourself as the new parent as more of a friend or counselor rather than a disciplinarian, okay? If this is your situation, let the biological parent remain primarily responsible for discipline, okay, until the other parent has developed solid bonds with the kids, all right? So that's what Tanisha and I do in our situation. I'm more like the tattletale. I'll go tell her, hey, such and such did this, and then I'll let her go and, they get mad at her, and then they think I'm, nice and kind. Just kidding. But, sometimes you have to do that in order to make sure that those solid bonds have been developed with the new children. All right. Create a list of family rules if that's something that you need in order to make sure that boundaries are clear. Okay. Discuss the rules with the children and post them in a prominent place. Okay. Understand that the rules and boundaries are for the kids in their other residence, and if possible, stay consistent. All right. So, we don't have that situation, but if that is your case, then I think that's really, really important. All right. It's still so important as you're blending families to communicate open and often. All right. The way of blended family communicate says a lot about the level of trust between family members. When communication is clear, open, and frequent, there are fewer opportunities for misunderstanding and more possibilities for connection, whether it is between a parent and a child, the new parent and a new child, or between new siblings. All right. You should try and discuss everything as much as you can. There are certain things that you can't discuss, of course, but Uncertainty and concern about family issues comes from poor communication. So talk as much as possible. All right. Try to address conflict as much as you can or as quickly as you can, because you don't want emotions bottled up or people to hold grudges. Try and listen respectfully to one another. Establish an open and non-judgmental atmosphere. And again, provide opportunities for communication by doing things together as a family. Games, sports, activities, those kinds of things. And so those things will really, really go a long way, to helping your blended family to be helpful. So I hope these things have been helpful to you all. Like I said, Tanisha and I have been married since October of this year, and we really try to do our best in an informal way to lay the groundwork for how we were going to be as, we became a new blended family. And many of these things that I've talked about here on this podcast were very, very helpful to both of us. And, and so it's been, it hasn't, always been, smooth sailing, here in the home. But in what home is there? Is it, So when we have issues, we talk about them, we talk with the kids, they're very respectful. And so things go so much smoother in terms of a blended family when you have that open communication, you have that trust, and and then of course in your marriage when you are, just have that open communication with your new spouse. And so, all right, I hope these things have been helpful to you all. They have been helpful to me. I've got a great partner who's very, very likes to talk and likes to talk about these things and have open communication. And so, that's really something that you gotta strive for. You gotta make sure that you have in your marriage, okay? Because that's where it starts. It starts with the marriage, all right? And so when the children see a unified front with the parents and see, the closeness there and see how you guys are working together to try to make a great home for everybody, then the hope is that they'll see that they'll feel more secure, and then that they'll start coming together and participating in that close bond. All right. So listen, guys, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. All right. Like, comment, follow on your favorite podcast platform. Sorry, losing my voice. And don't forget that I'm on all of the different podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all of the rest of them. All right. So let me tell you, this is Christmas week. I really do strive, to drop new episodes every Sunday and Wednesday. Some weeks I may be a day off, but I'm really, really trying to come up with good content for you guys. And so I hope you're enjoying it. Again, thank you for joining. This is Jaden Miller, and this is Think About It with me, Jaden Miller. I will see you next time. Listen, guys, have a Merry, Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his YouTube channel, and like and follow on your favorite podcast platform.